Welcome to Crimson Guitars. I'm Ben Crow, and I'm building a guitar. I'm taking a kit guitar and turning it Cyberpunk 2077. And I'm having a blast. Burn it. Haha, yay! At this stage, I have some test LEDs done, flashing up some images probably of what it's actually going to sort of look like. I've got a lot of sanding to do. I've carved away a hell of a lot of material out of this top half of the body. If you haven't seen the other videos, please go and check them out. In this video though, I need to finalize what's happening on the other side. I'm going to be inlaying some aluminium, a sort of hand-beaten aluminium plate. The reason I am now moving away from this side is because I'm currently waiting for a supply. I need some mesh. We're going to be doing some resin and some mesh and bits and pieces in here. And frankly, you don't want to see me sanding that, so that's going off to the side. I'll sand away in the downtime, and we will move on. So yeah, I need to finalize the shape because this isn't quite right. Where we are is, that's the aluminium plate, but it doesn't quite work because this bevel here is supposed to continue on and the plate will be smaller. So essentially I need to go in, figure out that the plate's going to be there, that's going to be the bevel, and do all this drawing. I want a small bevel on the horn here as well. But yeah, for now let's move these LEDs of awesomeness. First we play. I like the white actually. Okay. That's going to be beveled. Yeah. And then the same size bevel. And now we need to figure out what we're doing with this plate. This plate is recessed quite heavily with an internal bevel, or chamfer. And I could do that. I could do the exact same thing here. Essentially, it's relatively straightforward. And so the bevel stop there just for fun. The aluminium stop there. Can I facet this calf? I can do anything I want. Would that look good though? It wouldn't look good. No, I've been looking forward to beating this. I have been. So we do that. That's going to be annoying. So if I recess this, like I did that, I have an issue in that the pickup here would have to either be direct mounted, which isn't an issue, I do that fairly regularly, or would have to have some sort of a custom yeah, custom surround would actually look quite cool, a multi-level surround. I've got some cool pickups coming for this, actually. Recessing that wasn't the easiest of tasks, you see. No, I don't like the look of that. That has a purpose. It's there. It's an access plate. This is a structural part of the sort of exoskeleton of the instrument, and doesn't need to be. This is going to be a plate that's there. It's inlaid, yes, probably, maybe not. Who knows? It doesn't even need to be inlaid. We could do the opposite. Ha! Stop. Okay, I realise that this part of the video has been a little bit boring, and I'm going to avoid the pencils from now on. I'm going to leave it at this. I'm very happy with how this looks, actually. Let us just crack on with cracking on, and we'll see what transpires. I mean, I could just cut away the entire whole central section of that and be done with it. Tempting. I'm going to go away and have a cup of coffee and think about this. While I think about that for a little bit, let's address this. So you saw me recess that. It got a little bit messy due to being a little bit messy, and it doesn't look that good. So I want to put in some filler, and I don't think I've, at least in the last decade or so, used 2-part automotive car body filler on an actual guitar like this, but it's quite useful when you need it. Yes, I remember this stuff. I really don't need very much. That's probably too much, but we'll go with it. What I want to know is how many of you are getting a sense memory of the smell of this from previous experience, watching me do that. I love it when that happens. It's a very distinctive thing. Okay, it's 2 parts, so you've got to mix it up and go. Doo-doo. You don't want to be looking at me now, do you? You want to be looking at whatever I'm doing. I've just remembered that I should be wearing gloves every time. I blame you, to be honest. It's really just the fact that I'm filming and thinking about creating hopefully awesome content for you, and it just totally messes with my whole concept of PPE and self-preservation. Did anyone believe that? So all we really need to worry about is how it looks in the middle, underneath the cymbal. All right, we'll leave that there for now and come back later. All right. While that cures, let us make a quick template with some tracing paper. Let us tape our template down to make it easier. That should do it. Okay, you can never have enough permanent markers in a workshop. The question remains, how am I cutting this out? I can use tin snips, which gives me anxiety because of the angles and curves and annoyingness of it. Or I could use a jigsaw, which gives me anxiety because of the huge amount of noise and the fact that I started unseasonably. I was woken up at 5 o'clock this morning. I was woken up at 4:30 this morning by a cat climbing up my curtain, and then just generally pissing about. And then at 5 o'clock, just after I'd recovered from the cat, my 5-year-old boy had mistakenly set his alarm clock and couldn't turn it off. So it's early in the morning, and a jigsaw right now would piss off my neighbours. Tin snips it is. Handsaw? That could work. I'm going to try this. Bye-bye, skip tooth blade. I no longer need you. This might work. This is 23 TPI. It's fairly coarse, but we'll see. It's times like this that I miss a scroll saw. None of these things are absolutely... Not many of these machines are absolutely essential. There are things you can do. Crikey, it's a big one. So, well, I'm left with the conundrum. Do I cut it exactly to size? I know it's going to distort as I bend it and curve it. So do I cut it as close as I can, hoping that I only have to file excess off, such as what happened with the other small insert? Or do I leave a little bit of room for error? The first one. I'm lazy. It's not that quiet, is it? Where are my isotunes? Use the coupon code Crimson10 to get yourself 10 quid or £10 off isotunes, depending on whether you go to .co.uk or .com. And I'm going to say goodbye now. Bye-bye. That's better. Success! And only broke 2 blades. All right. Cool. Let's hit ourselves in the face. Why don't we? This is a dystopian future after all, is it not? Where's my isotunes case? Oh, it's in my pocket. We have a plate. And it's currently the right shape. I'm somewhat worried about losing the definition of this and going the wrong way, but I can always move the lines a little bit if necessary. But at this point, I need to beat it. I need to find a slightly smaller hammer than last time though. That was overkill. I like this little anvil. This is tiny. This is very tiny. Let's see if it does. Also, where am I going? This will do. It's a little bit more gentle than the big one, but well, there we go. that noise. Well, our lines haven't changed all that much, so I was right to cut close to the line. We're all good. Now, we've got a curve that way, we also want one that way. This is where it's going to get confusing. Can anybody hear the child with a recorder? Back to this. So hitting it on this side creates a dome, a dishing effect, and I'm going for a very complex shape here, albeit relatively gentle. But it's already pretty close. I do need to say, this is not my strong point. I am playing, and so should you. Life is all about seeing how much fun you can have, to be frank, while being safe and staying at home and, you know, generally being a responsible human adult. Or a reasonable facsimile of such. There's a little bit of tension in that, but that's not too bad, actually. And it fits the shape quite nicely. I don't really want it under tension if I'm going to glue it, though. So I need to get as close as I can, really. Oh, that did good things. Haha! Okay. I've been fitting it to the wrong line. Typical. Still, it's close. All right, here we go. That worked quite well. Now, I started following the wrong line, but it's worked out okay. I've got some drawing and some cutting to do. It needs a little bit of tension to hold it down. But overall, I think we're pretty good. How's about I get some copper from an old whiskey distillery, per se, and some oak from some barrels, and do that as a guitar build? What do you think? You may be asking yourself, what is he going to do about those recesses around the control knobs? And what he's going to do is potentially destroy the guitar by trying to replicate them. Let's see. Okay, so I love how these Triton Quick Clamps self-adjust to a huge range of different thickness materials, and I don't understand the magic that makes it happen. Let's get drilling. Okay, I do have a reamer somewhere. I do have a center punch somewhere as well, I think. It's a lovely hand-forged scribe. This feels naughty. Top tip of the morning. Buy the best drill bits you can afford, or you can get away with. It's such an important part. All right, I'm going to drill the biggest I can, which is 10 mil for that particular hole, and then I'm going to try and find a reamer. I could Dremel it out, I could cut it out with a jeweler saw even, if necessary. If I was back in my studio at Crimson, I would, of course, just have the right size drill bit to hand. Now, let us put these on now that there's actually going to be some swath. So, which one am I doing? Yep. Okay. Cut this at 10. No, do it the right size. The other holes need to be 9 mil. So, I love the texture that the Anvil has given to this whole thing. It's incredible. I do need to clean it and restore it and surface the top and all that jazz because I want to use it for real stuff at some point, but for now, yeah, serves the purpose rather well. Okay, let's see. Spot on. I'm happy with that. Now to play. Let's do this intelligently. That's the same size as the dip I want. I think we're there. I need some scrap metal. To make this accurate to what we're dealing with, I'm going to drill a hole in this one as well. Now, this is a small piece of metal that I'm dealing with. So I'm going to clamp it down. The other bit I held with my hand, and as I was drilling, I held it here. The drill was rotating in that direction, and if I lost grip, the metal would spin away, and because it's so big, I would have time before it came around and ripped my hand to shreds. In this case, it's small, it's got sharp ends. I'm just going to clamp it. I think using a bigger hammer might work better. But I truly just enjoy pissing about. That worked. I'm a little bit worried because I've been working with this aluminium, and what happens is, as it work hardens, which happens with most materials. As you're beating it, the structure of the metal changes, it becomes harder and harder and harder, more and more brittle, and eventually it will crack. Now, because I've drilled a hole in here, the hole's going to get bigger and it's going to release some of that stress, but I might well need to anneal it, which essentially means heat it up. That changes the structure if you heat it up to the right temperature and softens it down again, and you can carry on working and until it gets hard again, then you anneal it, and then etc. It involves fire. I like fire. It's fine. Now the trick with that actually is permanent marker. Put some permanent marker on it, heat it up until the permanent marker disappears, and at that point, you have reached the correct temperature. I am going to have a go and see if I need to or not. You feel a difference in between them, annealed and unannealed and stuff. And I've forgotten how to speak now, so I'm just going to get on with hammering stuff, if that's all right. This is totally going to change all the beating I've already done on this piece, isn't it? That's something of a problem. Do I want to make a different former? Yes, yes I do. This is what happens when you don't think ahead. Damn fool. I need a bit of turning wood. Okay, so, well, I'm going to go back. I'm going to... Yeah. Okay, fine. Fine. No, I've jumped the gun. There's that. Where's that gouge? Yes, I could also do this on the lathe, but really, this works just as well. How many of you think I should do more wood turning on the channel and in guitar building in general? And that there is a little bit taller than I need. Fun times. So I'm marking a hole in the very center of my former here, and that helps me to locate the work as I go. I hope this doesn't deform the rest of the work too much. Yeah, I'm going to burn this. Let's get some fire out. Okay, I'm going to use this little thing. This doesn't feel like it's going to get enough, does it? Oh, it does appear to be doing the job. And yes, my fingers are getting a little bit warm, but... There we go. And this is after I promised not to burn anything in this series. I'm trying to wean myself off, you see. I think the issue is that I'm not trying to wean myself off, I'm trying to gain a few brownie points before I build an entire guitar out of 20,000 matchsticks, perhaps. Okay, well, I'm going to leave this on the anvil to cool down for a bit, and then we shall resume. So, I suppose it's time to tidy up a bit. Much better, much better. Can you hear my son asking what he can do to be helpful? He's pretty cute, isn't he? I did say. What can you do to be helpful? I mean, just be cute and swing and have fun, really. Quietly.
I can't do that all day long.
No? You see what I mean about the quicksand? So we laid hardcore on the ground out here, and this boy... Don't touch that. Get off. Thank you. This little boy, who's not allowed to be on camera, removed all of the hard bit of the hardcore and basically created quicksand. So it's an issue.
Me!
Nope. Oh, spot on. Okay. Well, that worked. I've had a total blast doing this. It's going to really suck to edit. I think we all need to thank Talitha in the comments below. But yeah, here we are. So it's not absolutely perfect, but it's close enough that it just goes down with ease. Okay, so this is looking rather good, if I do say so myself. Now I could just route that out, but I don't want to put it under tension or under too much pressure, so I'm just going to do a little bit more cutting. This particular episode is a little bit monochromatic, I apologise. But I don't want to turn this build into another complication, i.e. never ending. No. You have a tool for the job, use the tool for the job. The key to gluing a piece of sheet metal to wood or pretty much anything is epoxy, and it is key that one creates a good key. I hate myself. I do. Now, because I've got lots of parts on here that's actually fairly rough, and that's essentially what a key is. You want lots of scratches and bits and pieces on the material onto which the glue can grip and hold. If you've got a perfectly pristine, clean, shiny surface, the material is likely to just pull off no matter how good and strong the glue is. So this is nice because the rough surface of the anvil has already created a good key for most of this. Let's have a close-up. So here's what I'm talking about. You can see lots of pitting and craters and bits and pieces. And there's some scratches that I've just put in. I am going to go over the whole thing and create a whole load more of those. I don't want the edges to be absolutely perfect, not by a long shot, but I also need them to be not obviously filed. So I'm going to sand them down and then just scratch them on the edges of this anvil. Oftentimes, to get a perfectly unperfect finish, you have to go better first. I think I'm quoting Adam Savage here, or mangling something that he said once in a video. Please, in the comments below, let me know what I'm supposed to have said. This has not been an average day of guitar building. Now, I'm going to be epoxying this creation onto the timber. Now, the problem is glue is going to squeeze out, and if I leave this inner line here, chances are it's going to be permanent. So I need to do a little bit of sanding. I want to get rid of that. I don't want to carve this chamfer yet, because if something slips, I'm going to have to move the chamfer, and I want to leave my options open at this stage. The edge is going to be less damaged than the top anyway, by the fact that they aren't as easily accessible, for one. So my original thought was that I would create custom clamping cauls that would then hold everything down and you know, have nice curves and all that jazz, or potentially a vacuum press or something like that. I had completely forgotten that I had a bunch of these Triton Quick Clamps here, and I think, unless I'm much mistaken, these are going to do the job perfectly well. See, the thing is, they adjust to both thickness and different angles. So I suppose the only thing is, do I have enough of them? Wait. Where are we? Okay, that one's a bit tight. Do we do it this way? No, other way around. So there's these little screws here that adjust the tension somehow. As I said, I think it's magic. Yeah, these may as well have been invented for this task. They're bloody perfect. Okay. Well, there's nothing for it. Unless I'm missing something. Let's mix some glue. Well, first of all, I've got to declamp the test clamps, but hey. Okay, so I've got Aerolite Ultra Standard here. I'm not sponsored by them or anything. This is what I could find. It's a 90-minute open time, and then something like 13 or 14 hours, I think, before I can properly play. And I'm just going to mix it on here because there's no point in making a mess anywhere else, really. So yes, there's going to be a lot of scraping and cleaning around edges, but I would rather be absolutely certain that I've got glue everywhere, filling all the gaps, etc., and have to spend a little bit longer cleaning up afterwards than be a little bit too timid and lose adhesion too soon, i.e. ever. Who noticed that I didn't put gloves on yet again? But I also wonder who has experience with epoxy, using it as a glue, and is feeling the same low-level utter panic that I am right now, knowing that I'm partway through a glue up, because I still never really trust it to not go off, too soon. Epoxy glue and hand grenades, just always treat with respect and care and get the job done as fast as possible. I think we're good to go. This is just too cool. Alrighty, so that looks lined up to me. He's good. Yes, I'm putting a latex glove on a clamp. All right, that looks good. What do you think of that, everybody? Of course, it was a glue up, and it sucked a little bit because all glue ups suck. But yeah, essentially everything's down. We've got no gaps that I can tell. It's all good. I am likely to be painting around the edge of the aluminium, probably in some way, shape or form. Not entirely sure yet. I might even bevel all the way up to it. We'll see. But I'm going to leave that to cure now for 12 to 14 hours, as instructed. No, I'm going to turn the camera off, double check it for sticky glue fingers. There's no sticky glue fingers on the camera. The editor would kill me. Welcome to another day. We're back. We're bad. And, well, the glue has cured. So let's get this thing unclamped. I can't see anything wrong. So it's a tiny, tiny, tiny little gap at the edge there. So we have the look coming together. This video is pretty much at an end. I'm not going to bore you by finishing up with scraping all of this off, etc. I'm incredibly happy with how that turned out. I love the look of it as well. It works with what we've got, and it's a complex, interesting shape. So yeah, let me know in the comments below what you think. I mentioned that I was planning on putting a mesh of some kind behind this Soundhole, and then we would flood it with clear epoxy resin to be able to see what's going on. And then I remembered that I have this material, and it is hard to pick up. This is, oh wow, that's a cool shot. This is a hexagon shaped, very ultra lightweight material. This is used to sandwich in between layers of carbon fiber for the sort of Formula One and aerospace applications, shall we say. I always expected to smell of honey. And what I'm thinking of doing is cutting the shapes out and inlaying them into the Soundholes. So from the side, we're not going to see any difference in height between the honeycomb and the resin, but also from the internal Soundholes, you're not going to see an issue there either. What do you think? There are other options. I've had this for a couple of years now and wondering what to use it for. I do have other mesh. I've got some very nice fine brass mesh at the vintage tool shop, and some aluminium stuff for what it's worth. That just doesn't look, you can get that at your local hardware store and it's just boring. Sorry for the noise. Anyway, I'm going to leave you with that idea. I would like you to let me know in the comments below what you think. I mean, you can see me smiling, you know what I think at this point. Yeah, I've got a lot of sanding and scraping and finessing to do now. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. Click that like button and the notification button. This helps other people who might not have seen us to get access to the videos and, you know, hopefully make this thing crazy. We're about to hit 250,000 subscribers. If you haven't yet, go over to Crimson Guitars Extras, where as the sort of quarantine ends, we're going to be adding more content, and there is going to be a giveaway. When we hit 250,000 subscribers, there's going to be a build of some sort, I've been told, and we're going to give it away to somebody who is subscribed to Crimson Guitars Extras channel. So link in the description, go over there. It's going to be shorter, more to the point, more tutorial based content on there. So yeah, I would appreciate if you would do that. Thank you for your support, and thank you for sticking around right to the very end of this video. See you soon. Goodbye. Honeycomb. In a Soundhole. Yeah.